You ready?
That's enough of that, man. What up? What up, my guys? Welcome to another show. We got our guy Ronald Cabang with it, aka UCapper Sports, man. It's NBA Talk with Jay, man. We're back from the break. I like to say second half of the season, even though 3/4 of the season are already over here, Ronald. But it's time to start stacking up some wins. My brother, how you doing over there? Everything cool with you?
Yeah, man. Just had a good, refreshing week. I mean, my kids were out of school this whole week, so I've been kicking it with them. But yeah, man, back to business. You hit me up this morning. He was like, "Yeah, you don't have to do a show, but I always got to come on when I have the chance." Jay, this is definitely one of my favorite shows to be on.
I appreciate you as well, my brother. We appreciate you. Everybody in the chat appreciate you as well, man. They love when our guy Ronald comes on the show, man. Y'all go check out his YouTube channel, Let's Cap. He does a UFC show as well. He's over there at Sports Memo. You can follow him on Twitter as well at UCapper Sports. It's all business here on the show, guys. We got a large card here today, so let's get straight down to business here, Ronald. First game up, we're going to the streets of Indiana here, Indianapolis, Indiana, to the field house. We got the Pacers getting 8 points at the house versus the Boston Celtics here, Ronald. Now, these two teams did face off earlier this year. The Pacers smoked the Celtics. They were up by 20 points, 42-22 in the first quarter, and they were up by 28 at the end of the first half. They only end up winning the game by 5, but they did come from start to finish, come out there and smack the Celtics. Do you think the Celtics will be playing with some revenge in this one?
Yeah, this one's tough. I know the Pacers. I think after Hallie got hurt the first time, they kind of struggled to come back, even when he came back from the injury. But there's one thing that we talked about this season as far as like revenge angle, right? A lot of teams are struggling in that spot, and the Celtics really they're one of those teams here. They have won 5 of their last 6 games, covering all 6 of them. This is a first of a 3-game road trip for them. The Sixers on deck, so possible look ahead here. Pacers coming off a win before the All-Star break. This is a 1-game homestand, and then they're going to head out on the road. But like I said, the Celtics not really great in revenge angles this season. 0-8 against the spread in that spot. I think what happens is they really they push the line a little bit further out than they need to. Mm-hmm. They over adjust for that revenge angle, right? And the Pacers, on the other hand, as home dogs, they've been doing a lot pretty well this season. 13-6 against the spread as home dogs. If you include that they're looking at a total of 230 or greater, they're 11-3 against the spread. So it seems like they push the pace in this spot, and the Celtics, who typically don't play a fast pace, it pushes them to play an uncomfortable game, and that goes towards the Pacers side here. I would lean towards the Pacers here. I do think the Celtics get the win. I just feel like the line might be a little bit out of reach.
Yeah, no, that's a fact right there. I do have the Pacers as a bet against team in the second half. That's just in general. That doesn't mean that I'll fade them every single game. I don't have a play on this game. I know I have a rule. Like I have rules written down, and I'm not going against them. I will not bet against the Celtics. Now, what we do see sometimes the top tier teams, especially number 1, number 2 seed, they do kind of start to taper off towards the end of the season, kind of sort of getting ready for the playoffs. So there will be spots that I will possibly fade the Celtics, but in this revenge spot, I don't like the Pacers. Obviously, don't play enough defense as well. They can score with the best of them, and I'm looking at the starting lineup. I'm like, they actually can kind of sort of match up well with the Celtics here. But the fact that it is revenge spot here, the Pacers aren't the greatest team. They've lost 16 out of the last 19 games as well. They were sitting at like the 4th, 5th seed in the playoffs at some point. Now they're probably not going to make the playoffs this year, guys. So I could almost guarantee you that the Pacers are not going to make the playoffs this year. So I'd lean Celtics minus the 8, but I must say that I didn't lay it, guys. So that would be the lean the game. I'd also lean to the over as well. The last night the total's at 234. It is down to 232, but I still think the way the Pacers run and gun, the Celtics love to shoot threes and run and gun as well. I don't see the Celtics bringing their best defensive game. They know they can win this game with offense. I'd be looking towards the over in this one, Ronald. Did you have any thoughts on the total there?
Yeah, the over actually looks like a play. I mean, the Pacers they should be back. I mean, they've had a good break here in the All-Star break. So they should be able to get their offense going. And on the other side, if the Pacers stay in pace with the Celtics here, like keep the game close for the most part, I think it'll push the Celtics to play some efficient offense as well. Like they won't let their guard down in the second half, and that should be able to push that over.
Yeah, no, that's a fact right there. Yeah, I lean over. I'm surprised the spread came down, in my opinion. Celtics are over team. Pacers are definitely over team. I think the over is probably the better play than trying to pick a side in this particular game, guys. Let's head over here to the streets of Orlando, guys. We have the Magic land 7 points at the house versus the Pistons. Ronald, it's a double revenge spot, same season. They've also lost 5 of the last 6 versus the Pistons, the Magic are. The Magic are trying to push for that play-in tournament. They probably get there. The
Mhm.
Pistons don't want to win games. What are we doing here, Ronald?
This one is tough. I mean, you mentioned it, right? They don't want to win games, but at the same time, it's not like they're not covering. You know what I mean? They have
Mm-hmm.
lost 5 of their last 6 games going into the break. But one thing that I did notice, you mentioned that Pistons won both games so far this season against the Magic, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Pistons are actually 4-2 straight up, 5-1 against the spread versus teams that they beat in the most recent matchup, and that includes the Magic already. You know, they're also 7-1 to the over as road dogs versus conference teams with a losing record. So they tend to push the pace. It seems like when you play when the Pistons play another weak, I would say weaker team, like under with a losing record, no one really cares about defense. They're just going to continue to push the pace. It'll be like a layup drill, to be honest. And on the other side, the Magic 5-1 to the over as home favorites. This is typically as a favorite, you don't want to back the Magic, right? They're not a team that you want to back as far as the spread goes. But when it comes to the total, like I said, it's that spot where if they're a favorite, that means they're playing another weak team, and when that
Mm-hmm.
happens, no one's really playing defense. So I would only look towards the over. I do have a lean towards the Pistons as well. So maybe I mean that's pretty much the way that I would lean over, lean Pistons. Maybe a look towards that team total over on the Pistons side.
Yeah, that's a fact right there. Yeah, I'm staying clear from the Pistons probably for the rest of the season. I'm just not getting there with the tanking teams. Now you make some good points. The Magic land 7. It's not necessarily the best recipe here, but with this being a double revenge spot, they lost both meetings already in Detroit. The first one they had Cade Cunningham. He had 18 points, 10 rebounds. The second one, Sadiq Bey went off for 28 points in that one. Neither one of those guys will be in this game. This is the first matchup in Orlando as well. Like I say, when you have two teams facing in different directions, I could only look towards a team that's actually playing for something, pushing for the play-in tournament. And they're 8-0 against the spread last 8 games following the ATS loss. Y'all know that the Magic are red hot ATS, man. They're playing on a different level right now, and I also think they carry this over to next year as well. But 24-11 against the spread last 35 games, guys. Also 13-3 against the spread last 16 after a straight-up loss. I could only look towards the Magic here. Line was at 6. It opened up originally at 5.5. I agree with this move going up to 7. I do think this could be a possible smash spot for the Magic. And shout out to my guy Sean Murphy in the chat there as well with some Magic team total overs. I know Norland's Newell is out for the Pistons here. I think Marvin Bagley as well is probably going to be out. So not a ton of rim protection for them. The Magic have a ton of length down low. I think they get whatever they want in the paint in this one, guys. So Magic team total over would be a nice look, in my opinion, my guys. Could not talk you off in that one. Let's head over to the streets of Cleveland here, Ronald, where we have the Cavs land 2 points at the house versus the Denver Nuggets. A matchup versus two top teams. Who do we take in this one, Ronald?
This one, I mean, the Nuggets, you see them on the road. They struggle a lot more on the road than they do at home. Like if you just look at their straight up record at home, 27-4 straight up on the road, 14-4 straight up. If you look at the average margins as well, plus 11.9 at home, -4 on the road. If you look at them on the road versus teams with a 60% winning record, 60% win percentage or greater, they're actually 0-5 straight up, 1-4 against the spread. The one game that they did cover, they were 12.5 point dogs because I don't think Jokic didn't like they didn't have nobody playing for their squad that
Mm-hmm.
game against I think it was against the Bucks. So that obviously with a large line like that, even without key players, that type of organization, they would cover that type of line. So they did cover that one, but like I said, 0-5 straight up. And this is a line where it's pretty close to just like you want to see who's going to win the game, right? On the Cavs side, they do well at home. Another thing to mention too, versus
Mm-hmm.
non-conference teams with a winning record, they play up against those opponents, 7-1 straight up, 6-2 against the spread as favorites versus non-conference teams with a winning record. The average full game margin in those games plus 11.4. The other thing too, 5-0 straight up, 5-0 against the spread, 4-1 to the over as favorites with a team against teams with a better record than them. So like I said, they play up against their the level of their opponents. So and then with them being at home is just extra extra icing on the cake there. So
Mm-hmm.
I would look towards the Cavs here.
Man, I can only look. I'm not betting against. That's one of my rules. Don't bet against the Cavs at the house. They're 25-6 straight up at the house. Like, why would you bet
Mhm.
against them? And this is a game where they pretty much just need to win the game on a -2 spread. You know what I'm saying? So with a -2 as well, you could always just choose to take the money line somewhere around -130. Definitely couldn't talk you off that. But 20-10 and 1 against the spread at home. The Cavs are. This revenge spot as well. They lost 121 to 108 January 6th. They did come out and cover the first quarter. No, and it was a back-to-back for the Nuggets in that one, but they didn't have Donovan Mitchell, and we know the Cavs they were on the road, so they are a little bit more susceptible to some bad
Mhm.
offensive play on the road. And now you see them scored 108 points, but 4-0 against the spread after last four after a loss for the Cavs as well. 7-1 ATS last 8 after ATS loss. Also 5-2 ATS last 7 home games here. The Nuggets, they seem to struggle. If you want to fade the Nuggets, I don't agree with like fading them a lot like the second half of the season, but
Yeah.
you want to fade them on the road. They're only 14-14 on the road, so kind of mediocre. 2-5 against the spread last 7 road games versus 6% home teams. That's what they have here versus the Cavs, my guys. And it's also a possible look ahead versus to the Grizzlies as well. I mean, I know
Yeah.
the Nuggets they don't really look ahead, but when you have an Eastern Conference team, it's not a back to back, but they do have the Grizzlies on deck. But regardless, I'd be looking at the Cavs in this one, guys. I must say, I think the Cavs is the right side in this game. I'd play Cavs -2 in this one. It's not my best bet, but I do think the Cavs are the right side. And we know that Aaron Gordon is out, Jamal Murray game time decision. So if Murray does get ruled in, maybe it goes down to 1.5 or 1. But I want to fade the Nuggets on the road. I want to back the Cavs at the house, Ronald. So what we doing? We betting Cavs here -2 officially?
Yeah, I did. I took it last night at -2. So I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna go away from it now.
That's a fact, Ronald. Let's go. I'm
Yeah.
riding with my brother Ronald. Let's go Cavs, my guys. Let's head over here to the streets of Philly here. We got the 76ers laying 3.5 points at the house versus the Memphis Grizzlies in this one, Ronald. I'll be honest, I was somewhat surprised to see this one come down from 4 to 3.5, Ronald. What do you
Yeah,
think?
me too. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That I'm surprised too. I did wish it opened up at like -2.5 or 3, like I talked to you earlier before the show. But obviously the Grizzlies, they've been struggling offensively, man. Especially since Adams has been out of the lineup. He's really that guy that kind of opens up the lane for Ja to create, not only just be able to score in the paint, but also that opens up the outside for guys like Bain and Brooks and stuff like that. So their offense has really been struggling without Adams there to kind of do what he does. Really, it goes really unnoticed just because he doesn't put numbers up. But if you watch the games with the Grizzlies, he's a really big impact on how they spread the court. On the Sixers
Mhm.
side, they went into the break pretty hot, winning 4 straight games. They do have the Celtics on deck, which is possible look ahead. But like you
Right.
mentioned in the last game, right? The Grizzlies, they have the Nuggets on deck. So two teams really looking ahead here. As far
Mhm.
as the injury report on the Sixers side, they're pretty healthy. I haven't seen anything as far as anyone being questionable or anything like that. But Grizzlies did win and cover that first matchup of the season. One thing that I talked about earlier, especially like the Celtics, how they struggle in revenge games. The Sixers, they do really well in revenge games. They're 11-2 straight up, 11-2 against the spread, including 3-0 straight up and against the spread to the against in conference teams. So I mean non-conference teams. So even if they're not going against a team that they don't see often, they still take care of business in these revenge spots. On the Grizzlies
Mhm.
side, as road dogs, that's typically not a spot that they've been doing well in. 0-8
Right.
straight up, 1-7 against the spread as road dogs. This is the average score for them, 105.9 in 8 games. They allow 122.6 on average in those 8 games. So a lot of things to me are pointing towards the Sixers side. Another thing to mention also, like I talked about the non-conference games, they're 7-2 straight up, 7-2 against the spread in non-conference games versus teams with a winning record. So again, one of those things where you want to look at do these teams play up to their opponent's level, right? And that's one thing that they do. If you include that they're at home, 6-0 straight up, 6-0 against the spread, average winning margin by 10 points. So uh, I mean, I'm really scared just because I don't know what's going on, why the line is coming down, but everything really to me is pointing towards the Sixers here.
No, I'm right there with you, man. I have the Sixers. I hadn't bet this one yet, but I'm pretty close, man. I do the research, see what I'm saying? And then, like, throughout the day, I kind of like think on my plays or whatever. But I might get there with the Sixers, man. This is a revenge spot as well. They lost, and the line has flipped. They were getting 4 in Memphis. Now they're laying 4. The line is all over them as well. But they did lose 117-109 with Grizzlies favored by 4 at the house. And B went out for 35 points in that one. But keynote, they did have Steven Adams still, right? And the Grizzlies are totally different with Steven Adams. He had 16 rebounds and 9 points in that game, and it was another guy that they can kind of throw up against Embiid. You can have Triple J and Adams that you can throw up against Embiid instead of just, well, I guess they have Tillman and Triple J, but Triple J get in foul trouble, and I can also see that happening here. That game, they outscored them free throws, 28 free throws to 17 for Philly. That probably evens up or goes a little bit more to the Sixers way as well. Home team, Ronald, I don't even care about all the other shit. It could be really this simple. The home team is 9-1 straight up and against the spread last 10 meetings. You just take the home team. That's who's been cashing in this one, guys. So Sixers 20-6 against the spread last 26 home games, 8-3 against the spread last 11 versus 6% win teams or higher, 7-3 against the spread last 10 games with 3 or more days rest. Where the Grizzlies are not good with rest. They're historically they're 7-18-1 against the spread last 26 games playing with 3 or more days rest. So maybe they like to get out there and party a little bit. But the Grizzlies also are not great on the road. 1-6 ATS last 7 road games, 1-5 ATS last 6 in Philly. All of my stats, all of my info tells me that we should probably be taking the Sixers here minus the 3.5. That's the only way I can look. They, like you said, Ronald, they do have the Celtics on neck, but they usually get smacked by the Celtics every game. So I'll be honest, it's probably a look ahead, but they know, man, the Celtics own them. So you got to come out here and get this win. Grizzlies probably really are looking ahead to the Nuggets. I do like Sixers minus 3.5 here, Ronald. I hadn't played it, but I do think that's the right side, and that's what we're here to bring the people the info and the sports betting advice. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. One more thing to add to that, Jay, like on the Grizzlies side here, we talk about the revenge angle, but there's also that angle where teams play against teams that they beat earlier in the season. The Grizzlies, they're 0-4 straight up and against the spread versus teams that they beat in the most recent matchup when they're the dog. And so it's that thing that you mentioned when the line flipped from favorite to dog, right? Now that they're the dog in the situation, it seems like it's a spot where they don't take it that serious because they already beat them earlier on in the season. That might be the way to another angle to look at, because people always talk about revenge, but what is the motivation after you already beat that team? That's another thing to look at as well.
Yes, sir. That's a fact, man. We always trying to find different angles, man. I appreciate you for saying that as well, Ronald. And one more thing, that is DeAnthony Melton's old team as well. He is inserted to the starting lineup, so could not talk you off any DeAnthony Melton props in this one. He will like to show up versus his old team, guys. Let's get straight to it, man. 4 more games here, 5 more games, man. Damn, well, let's get straight to it. We got the Raptors here, land 6 points at the house versus the Pelicans, Ronald. I don't have a ton on this one. This one all you, my brother.
Yeah, I don't really have much either. The only thing that I could think of is the Pelicans on the road. They struggle there, especially on the defensive side of the ball. 5-14 straight up, 6-12-1 against the spread, 12-7 to the over. The reason why they're going over is because they're allowing 117 per game to their opponents. For me, I just can't trust the Raptors now. They do have some momentum on their side. They won 5 of their last 6 games going into the break. But if you look at the teams that they beat some scrubs. They beat Magic, Pistons, Spurs, and Rockets. The teams that they beat, they also beat the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies, obviously, they've been struggling offensively. So that's another team that they should have beat. The one team that they did win in that 6-game span was against the Jazz, who also have been struggling. So for me, I just don't trust the Raptors yet. I need to see them fully healthy, and I need to see them win against a solid team here. So I would lean Raptors. I would lean the over. I just not going to get there to the window with it.
It's an absolute coin flip for me. I don't even have notes written down on this game because this won't be a game that I'm thinking about all day. That's in my head. I don't no disrespect to this game or the teams, but I know for a fact I don't have a strong edge on this game. The Pelicans have covered 5 straight versus the Raptors, but the home team has won 4 straight up here. So I don't want to lay the points with the Raptors. I think that their offense can go through dry spells, but the Pelicans as well. I said all that to say I think this will be a defensive game. 2 top-tier defensive teams, in my opinion. Both of them can go on their offensive dry spells throughout the game in this one. And I definitely don't trust the Pelicans offense on the road. So this actually could be a nice little sneaky underplay. If there was one game that I'm playing the under with these guys coming back off the break, it's going to be this one. They're going to lean on their defense. This one might not get past 220. So I'd lean to the under in that one. Set over here to the streets of Dallas here, Ronald. We have the Mavs land their most points so far of the season. Doesn't mean that they can't cover. They are going up against the worst team here, but Mavs land 14 and a half here at the house versus this San Antonio team. They don't even have a name for me right now. I just call them San Antonio. Over and under sitting at 239 here, Ronald. Do you think the Mavs take them to Smack City here?
I mean, you would think that the Mavs win here. I know they're on a 3-game losing streak heading into the break. I mean, they've had the week off. Obviously, I don't know what they were doing during the All-Star break as far as like how they're gonna, close out these games, because that's what really they were struggling with before the break, is how they close the games with Kyrie and Luka. But for the most part, Mavs should win this game. It's just a matter of, do you think they cover? I don't know. I mean, Spurs, obviously, they lost 14 in a row. They've only covered 2 of those 14 games. On the Mavs side, though, they're at home as favorites, and they're only 8-16-2 against the spread as home favorites. I would say Mavs win the game, but I'm not going to bet this game on the spread or even the total for that matter.
Yeah, I'm not betting. I'll give you the notes though. I'll give you the info. This San Antonio trash ass team, they are 4-1 ATS last 5 in Dallas, 5-1 ATS last 6 versus the Mavs overall. So whether they're at home or in Dallas, they seem to play this team close. Even this year, while they're so ass, right? They only Luka needed 50 points to beat this Spurs team last time, and I think they only won by 1 point as well. San Antonio is also 5-2 ATS last this year as 12 or more point dogs as well. Mavs only 1-3 against the spread when land 10 or more points, guys. This has not been their role. This is their highest point spread of the season as well. Mavs also only 1-4 against the spread last 5 home games versus losing road teams. So they don't really get up for these games. Luka's been out partying with Jokic. He's been in Mexico, all this. So I'm worried about Luka, to be honest with you, man. But Kyrie is really balling. But so far, they don't really have the chemistry. They will build it on this 6-game homestand. But simply put, I'm not laying 14.5 with the Mavs against anybody. Could I talk you off fading the Spurs? No, I could not. But simply put, I'm not laying 14.5 or even over 10 points with the Mavs against anybody. Simply, they don't play enough defense in this one, guys. Let's get over here to my game of the day in this one. We got the Jazz laying a point here at the house versus the Thunder, guys. If you watch the night show, and I posted this one on Twitter as well, we hopped on the Thunder at +2.5 with a little J Money sprinkle on the +120 on the money line. I woke up this morning, Ronald, it's down to 1. Sometimes we can't be scared of the line move, especially when it's in our direction. I fully believe the Thunder win this game handily as well. It's down to 1, Ronald, or are you scared off? Do you think Thunder +1, we should still take that?
Yeah, I mean, like I lean Thunder here as well. The other thing that I could think of is just I'm not used to seeing the Thunder as either, in this short line, you know what I mean? Like either pick them favorite, especially on the road. I'm not used to seeing them in that spot. And we typically, back the Thunder as road dogs. That's what we like to see them as. I wish this was at the stay the same at like 3 or whatever. Obviously, the line is pretty close. It's telling us that the Thunder should win. I think they do. They've won and covered their last, 3 of their last 4 games heading into the break. This is the first game of back-to-back games, though. They got the Suns on deck. That's the only thing that's really scaring me in this spot here. Like I said, I wish it was still the dog. I missed out on that open number at 3. I can't talk you off of the Thunder here. That would be the only way that I could look. The other thing that I could look at is probably towards the under. I think the Jazz offense is really I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know why they were what they were doing before the All-Star break. They split the road series 2-2 before the break. They did cover 3 of them, but for the most part they did well offensively to start the season, but they're really inconsistent in most recent games. So I can't trust them to I don't know, like win or cover. I just don't know when they're going to win or cover. The Jazz has been one of my worst teams to really bet on or bet against this season. And that's the only reason why I really stayed away from this game, is really because of them. I just don't know when they're going to show up and when they don't.
Yeah, I'm on the Thunder here, guys. I'm on them. This is my favorite play of the day, to be honest with you guys. The Thunder have 7 times revenge. You could say the Jazz just absolutely own them. They hadn't faced off so far this year. They will face off. This is the first of 4 meetings for the rest of the season. I think Oklahoma City wins every single one of the games. The Thunder are making the playoff push. We want to bet teams that are openly pushing for the play-in tournament or for the playoffs. The Jazz are not. They traded away their guys. They're probably going to try to get their best draft pick. I do think the Jazz are a bet against team in the second half of the season.
Mhm.
But Thunder with 7 times revenge here. It does end today in this one, man. They're making a playoff push. Jazz tank season. Do you know what I'm saying? The Thunder are 12-4 in their last 16 meetings versus the Jazz. 12-4 ATS last 16 meetings. They're 7-3 ATS last 10 meetings as well. So they have lost 7 straight to the Jazz. Those were totally different teams. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and the guys over there. But the Thunder seem to cover versus them every single time. They're 13-5-1 ATS last 19 games overall. The Thunder are. So they've been balling. 6-2 ATS last 8 meetings in Utah. So the altitude does not affect them. When you betting on teams when going to Utah and Denver, you better see how they play there historically, because it does matter, guys. I feel like this is an absolute must-win spot by the Thunder. I do think they win it. It is a look ahead to the Suns tomorrow, but they're getting smacked tomorrow. It doesn't matter. I'm not scared of the look ahead here. This is one where, yeah, we have a bigger game tomorrow, but we know that our odds of winning that one are very low. Every game is a must-win. Let's go win this winnable game right here. We'll try to win tomorrow, but I'll tell you right now, I like the Suns tomorrow. So like OKC today, I can only look towards the Suns tomorrow. Suns and Clippers money line parlay tomorrow is free money, guys. I'll tell you that right now.
What do you think about the first half, Jay?
I don't even care, to be honest. I think this trifecta spot from the Thunder, straight up, bro. I hadn't even looked at first half. I'm only looking towards my full games right now, but I think the Thunder come out here and get on the Jazz ass early and often, bro. I'd actually take the Thunder trifecta spot here.
Love it. Okay, got you.
You liked it first half?
I was looking in that direction. You know how it is when the first game of back-to-backs and you got to look ahead. Sometimes when you have that big lead, you kind of give it up in the second half. You just kind of let go a little bit. I just don't want that spot where the Jazz get some momentum in the fourth quarter, and then the Thunder start to care and it's too late. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that I'm scared of, and that's the reason why I stayed out the full game. But while you were breaking it down, I was like, why don't we look at them early too? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then think of it in that sense. So I was just kind of thinking out loud while you were breaking it down, because it made a lot of sense when you were talking.
And let's hope that the Thunder. So if you guys did check out the night show, guys, we did hop on Thunder plus 2.5 in the money line last night. So I always talk about what's official, but I do want to encourage you guys, check out those night shows, man. Sometimes, especially the second half of the season, these lines probably will move if it's a really good game, guys. So if you can, check out those night shows in this one, but I'll take Thunder plus the 1 money line. I need them to win the game. Simply put, I do lean first quarter and first half as well. Hopefully they don't get up by 20 in the first quarter, because that's like a Death Star right there on the team, my guys. So if they're up 20 in the first quarter, you might want to live any team that gets up by 20 in the first quarter, live bet the dog. And no, I'm dead serious with that, though. A couple more games here, Ronald. Let's go through them. Got the Lakers, land 6. We're going to the streets of LA here. Lakers, playoff push. I'm only looking towards the Lakers in this game. I know it's a revenge spot with the Warriors. The Warriors have been ass on the road here, Ronald. Yeah. Real quick, Warriors 7-22 straight up on the road, 8-20 against the spread away. That's absolute worst in the league. And as a road underdog, 5-11 against the spread. That's good for third worst in the league. I can only look towards the revamped Lakers squad here, Ronald.
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk you off either. That would be the way that I'm leaning. I also like the Lakers team total over as well. That could be another way to go. I mean, the Warriors, they lost and failed to cover 3 of their last 4 heading into the break. For the most part, it's their defense that has been struggling. I know. Obviously, with Curry out, you would expect the offense, but the defense is struggling more than the offense has. They've allowed their opponents to go over their team total in 8 of their last 10 games. This is the first game of back-to-back road to home games as well, so that's a bad travel spot for them, or schedule spot. Lakers, they won 2 of their last 3. That one game, the Warriors, they beat the Warriors like a couple games ago. They did not have LeBron. LeBron and AD will be playing today. They've only played 1 game so far with everybody, with their new roster makeup and all that stuff, and they took care of business against the Pelicans, and they beat them by like double digits. To me, I think their offense is really going to start to put things together. I can only look towards the Lakers. I can only look towards the team total over for the Lakers as well. If you look at, you mentioned the struggles on the side for the on the road for the Warriors there, right? But even in revenge spots, 3-8 straight up, 1-9-1 against the spread in those revenge games. So they're one of those teams that don't do well in that spot. And one other thing on the road, on the first leg of back-to-back games. So both of those 2 bad schedule spots combined for the Warriors, 1-8 straight up, 1-8 against the spread. So a lot of things really just pointing towards the Lakers here. I think Lakers got some momentum going on their side.
No, that's a fact right there. And I'll give you a little tidbit here, guys. Every game for the Lakers is a must-win situation for them, guys. They're 5 games under 500 right now. They are pushing for the 6th seed. They will likely need some help, but I may have bet something on the Lakers to make the playoffs at plus 180, guys. So it is somewhat of a long shot, but I think the NBA wants them in there. Obviously LeBron is been very vocal about not missing the playoffs 2 straight
Yeah.
seasons. I think even if they get in the play-in tournament, they will find their way into the playoffs. So Lakers to make the playoffs at plus 180. It's from plus 150 all the way up to plus 198 if you have FanDuel. So shop around, make sure you get the best price if you do want to take that. But I fully believe that the Lakers will make the playoffs this year, guys. At plus price, I had to take it. Every game is a must win. I'm only looking towards the Lakers in this game, my guys. And the Warriors have the Rockets tomorrow. They will get a win there. Simple. Last game up here, Ronald. A little bit of inside info here. Blazers were, if you didn't know, if you didn't see Dame rapping and stuff, they were stuck on the they were stuck on the plane for 7 hours, couldn't fly out. So I think they're gonna try and fly out today. It's not that long of a flight from Portland to Sacramento, but it is still a little weird flying on the same day of a game, throws the whole routine off. So
Yeah.
that's just a little bit. I'm not even saying that Kings are a lock, but last time we did see the home team cover where I believe there was the Pelicans that went to the Mavs or something like that. They're wrong. So that's the info of what you think about this game. Does it matter?
For me, I think it's gonna hurt their offense, and they already struggle offensively on the road more than they do at home. They score almost 10 points less on the road than they do at home on average. If you look at them on the road as well, 18-10 to the under this season, including 8-1 to the under versus teams with a winning record, and it's mainly because of their offense, like I said. But it doesn't really show that they're not covering games though. It's just the amount of points, the pace of play. Both teams really struggling on both sides of the ball there. If you look on the King side, 8-4 straight up, 8-3-1, 8-4 straight up and against the spread, 8-3-1 to the under in these revenge games. I think the way that I'm looking at this game is probably not a popular look just because of the pace of play, the offensive style of both of these teams, especially the Kings. But I like the under here. A lot of things are pointing in that direction. If you look at the total at 240 or greater as well, they've held the Kings have held their opponents under their team total in 7 of the last 9 games with a total of 240 or greater. They've gone under altogether combined in 4 straight games with a total of 240 or greater. Also 7-2 to the under on the first leg of back-to-back games here for the Kings as well. A lot of things really pointing towards the under here. That to me, that's the way that I'm looking. I haven't gotten there to the window with it, but right before the show, I was asking some of the guys in the chat. I was like, "What do you think about it, YBB?" I think he might be on the under as well. But if you look at the Blazers side, no Nurkic, no Simons, that's some consistency on their roster that they're missing, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Offensive rebounds, the 3-point ability is Simons when he gets hot. That's something that's missing there. So I would only look towards the under.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'll be honest with you, Ronald. And I kind of forgot this as well. I'm like, all right, so Simon's out for a while. Blazers might be a fade. We can't forget, though, that they did just add 2 guards, and they can kind of soften the blow of them missing Simons. And they're 2 defensive guards. Well, I mean, people won't say that Cam Reddish. I've seen Cam Reddish turn up on both ends of the floor. He has it in him offensively and defensively. Matisse Thybulle, I don't know why he came over here and had the red light. Cuz hitting threes like it ain't not. I guarantee you they in Philly like, bro, where was this at, man? Matisse Thybulle, if he's gonna be that 3-and-D type of guy, he might really help the Blazers. You make a good point. Not a ton of presence down low. I'll be honest with you. I'll give you guys a little info. I think the Kings are gonna fade all the way down to the playoff tournament. I have them circled as probably one of the number 1 teams to fade. Not second half, but the rest of the season here. I think the Kings are a fade. Now, I must say, they probably will win this game. They could even cover the spread. It's not a game. I would like to lean Blazers here, to be honest with you, but especially with the whole mix-up of the plane, I definitely can't bet this game. I probably wasn't going to bet it anyway. I'll watch it. I hope the Kings win. The Kings will get their ass smashed tomorrow, guys. Even if they do, they can win this game by 10, 20 points, or they can lose it straight up. They're getting smashed by the Clippers tomorrow, guys. So I'm telling you right now, clips tomorrow, my guys. But yeah, for this game, I must say, especially with the whole 7-hour delay, them flying in today, I don't have much on it. I hope you cash that under. But I do think that the Blazers are a little bit better than we think, even with Simons out because of Thybulle and Reddish over there. And we got to see if they get Jeremy Grant in there as well. It's a tough game for it, but I'm in the business of fading the Kings in the second half of the season. We will get some money, my guys. I'm telling you that right now, Ronald. Any other things on this one before we get out of here, my brother?
No. I think I said my piece. I like the under. I'm probably gonna get there to the window as well, to be honest. So
Let's
that'll be the
cash.
way I look. I think I'm gonna wait though, because the number is going up. I want to see if they get up to like 241, 242. But if I start to see it trickle back down, I'm gonna jump on that under.
No, it's a great point. It's a great look there, my brother. It's free picks on the show every single day, my guy. Still got shirts as well, man. A few people ordered some shirts, man. I appreciate y'all as well, man. So still 50% off shirts, Smack City shirts, Us Against the Bookies, Let's Get Some Cash, all that good stuff. JMoneyIsMoney.com. If you'd like to get 50% off a shirt, if not, hey, it's cool with me. You dig what I'm saying? It's all good. But Ronald, what's up with you? What do you have going over at Sports Mineral? What you got going on your YouTube channel? And what are your picks for today for us, my guy?
Yeah, man, I got a lot of stuff going on. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you saw my schedule. I got 4 shows today.
Damn.
I got J show. Obviously, I got my Let's Cap show. I got UFC right after that, and then NBA tip off with Wager Talk. The Let's Cap. I don't know if you're gonna jump on, Jay, but if you guys don't know, Let's Cap actually does it a little bit differently than what Jay does. We go through every single game on Let's Cap. We go through the games that we want to look at, and we go through it at like a really detailed level. Like I do my screen share, I show you exactly what we look at, how I find my trends. Like if you hear how I talk and how I break down these games with these records, ATS, over under and all that stuff, that's what I go through on Let's Cap, like visually too. So you're actually seeing me do it instead of me thinking that I'm saying stuff out of my ass, which I'm not. I'm taking the level of detail and saying facts, not opinions. You know what I mean? So if you guys like that type of stuff, definitely check that out. The UFC show has been doing really well. If you guys caught the last part of last week's show, we hit two plus money UFC plays that I gave out right at the end of the Jay show last Thursday. So yeah, I got that stuff going on, man. I mean, just follow me on Twitter. As far as Sports Memo, I got a couple of NBA plays up. I'm gonna give them today. Philly and Cleveland, I posted those last night to clients. I do want to add that Sacramento and the Kings and Blazers under. I also want to look a little bit closer to the Lakers team total over, and also that Thunder play that you were talking about. I want to get there with you as far as the Thunder play there in some fashion. Those would be the ways that I lean. I gave you some of the officials as well. Yeah, definitely just check me out, guys. Over on Twitter, I usually post the links to my shows for you to catch, and we give out free information. I mean, I think a lot of people see me on Sports Memo and Wager Talk and think, all he does is sell plays. But really, when I'm on these shows, I give everything out for free.
Thanks.
So
Just like my guy Ski, man. We
yeah.
appreciate you as well, Ronald. Y'all go follow him on Twitter at UCapper Sports. For me today, guys, best bet. We did hop on Thunder last night, plus 2.5 with the sprinkle on the plus 120 on the money line, but it's down to +1 this morning. I mean, you have to still like it even more. You see what I'm saying? So give me the Thunder there, plus the 1. It's best bet of the day. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I do like the Cavs -2. I like the Sixers laying at 3.5. I like the Magic laying 7 as well. I heavily lean Lakers -6, and that's about it, man. I can't even say a lean on San Antonio trash ass, man. But if 3 plays that I'm gonna be on today, I know Thunder best bet. So if you want to grade me on just one, or you write the best bet, Thunder plus the 1 full game. But honorable mentions for sure: Sixers -3.5, Cavs -2 for sure, and also throw the Magic in there as well, guys. So that's what I'm liking, and gave out a couple picks for tomorrow as well, man.
Mm-hmm.
Check in for that night show if you guys can, man. Follow on Twitter. I'm posting picks on Twitter, post them in Action Network app, man. All that good stuff, man. Let's get some cash. We will win. It's Us Against the Bookies, guys. We out. Let's fucking go, man. Let's get this cash.